Hello, welcome to the National Humanities Center Humanities in Class Digital Library. My name is Andy Mink. I'm the Vice President of Education at the Center, and this short video is intended to be a tutorial on how to sign up for a membership and create a profile, as well as a short navigation tour through the site and a discussion about ways this might assist your teaching and your curriculum planning. Our goal for this site is probably very parallel to the primary mission of the center itself. Founded in 1978, the National Humanities Center is located in Durham, North Carolina, and each year we welcome a fellowship class of university professors and humanists who come to the center and they do their good work in the humanities. They do research, they write books, they have conversations, they find interdisciplinary connections. It's almost like a laboratory for scholars who are creating the kind of content and the emerging understandings of our world through a humanities lens. Our education department then is intended to build bridges from that world so that that same scholarship, that same process of knowing can be infused in instruction and modeled for students at both the K-12 level and the collegiate level. As a makerspace, the Humanities in Class Digital Library is also intended to be a space in which scholars and educators can work together, can share ideas, can discuss best practices, and be a place where you can trust and access the kind of high quality materials that will create a hands-on inquiry-based environment in your humanities classroom. On the digital shelves of this library, you will find scholarly materials like essays and video lectures and podcasts and discussions around and interpretations of the world from a scholar's perspective. You'll also find instructional materials like lessons and activities and assessments, courses and syllabi, materials that you can use with your students at any age and in any grade. More importantly, while you can access these materials, you can also evaluate them, you can modify them, you can remix them, and you can also publish your own materials so that this becomes an evergreen space for humanities instruction to continue to grow and to improve and evolve. In addition to materials and resources created by the National Humanities Center, you'll also find resources from content providers and organizations from across the country in all humanities disciplines. This gives us the depth and the breadth of covering the humanities curriculum and finding ways that to provide you with the information that you need to create those kinds of teaching moments in your classroom that you're searching for. The Humanities in Class Digital Library is a free resource, and it also operates as an open education resource, as an OER platform with a Creative Commons license. So anything you find or produce here is available for your classroom. It's material that you can use without concern of copyright, and again, there will never be a charge. Lastly, I think the real implicit advantage of this site will be your connection with humanities educators and scholars across the country. We do encourage you to take advantage of the community that we're constructing here, that we're supporting. Please do reach out to others who have similar interests and needs and use this as a space, as a makerspace, where you can address these issues and help make better sense of our world using the humanities. You might have come to this site and perhaps even are listening to this video by participating in a National Humanities Center activity or program. It may be that you've attended a webinar. It may be that you've been a participant in an online course or joined us for a summer program. It could be that you've come here from one of our many partners who are also contributing materials to the site. It could be that you found us through a Google search or through social media. In all cases, please know that you're welcome to use and join this community. You can be a teacher, you can be an educator, you can be an informal educator, you can be a humanities professional who is not teaching formally right now. You could be at the university level, community college. This site is intended to be an open and inclusive site for educators at all levels and those with interest in the humanities. So please do share this with your colleagues, with your staff, with others in your own personal networks who will find this valuable. And the more membership and the more activity and engagement with the site, the more valuable it will be for all of us. So let me start by saying that the URL is permanent, public, and live. education.nationalhumanitiescenter.org is the host URL. Please bookmark it. And when you enter that URL, you'll come to this front door. This is the registration or the sign-in page. We have made sure that once you've signed in, you'll be in the library, so you will not have to continually re-sign in. It will remember you until either your cache is full or you log out. You are welcome to make more than one profile. For example, if you've got a profile for your personal use, or maybe one for your professional use, or you'd like to make one for your department, please feel free to do so. However, each profile will have activity that is associated with that email address. So anything you do in one profile cannot necessarily be accessed by another. So be clear about the ways that you sign in. The first thing you'll do is select Register under Create an Account and follow the prompts in the fields that are presented. Some of this information is required. First name and last name and email address. Please do choose a permanent email address that you'll have access to. If you think you might be moving from your school or changing your district, or your professional email address might be transient, then maybe choose a private email that you can always access. Please do let us know the organization that you're affiliated with. This might be your school or your district or your company or your nonprofit, as well as choose a role that best describes the work that you do. You can select your own password, identify that you're not a robot, and select Register. After registering, you will receive an email that asks you to verify, and once you verify that email, you can come back to the main page and sign in. When you sign in or walk through the front door, you're now in this digital library, and you can see in the upper right-hand corner that your profile will be represented by a photograph should you choose to upload one, and that profile will be a place that you can access all of the information in the activity that you've collected for your own individual interests and private use. So your profile page can be completed much like many profile pages. It's very self-explanatory. I would encourage you to provide as much information as you feel comfortable. What this does is allow us to better serve the audience and the membership of the library. It also allows you to meet others who have similar interests and who can engage in conversation with you. So that includes the subjects that you're interested in, a short biography, a photograph, your social media links, etc. This is also a space where you can create folders that then allow you to select and collect information. These resources are identified almost like a shopping cart, although things are free. And with those folders, you can begin to construct your own curricular backpack that allows you to save the resources that you find to be the most valuable. This video will address two primary functions of the site. The third, which is the publication of your own materials and web-based resources, will be in a follow-up and second video. But this one I'm going to primarily talk about identifying and discovering resources, as well as the group function. So there are several ways for you to discover and find the resources that you are interested in and looking for. Consider this as you going up to the card catalog in the center of the library. There are several immediate ways that you can access this card catalog. One is through the keyword search function. So if I type in Civil War, for example, which is a very broad term, and I would probably encourage you to narrow that down some. If I type Civil War in, it will immediately search the digital library and find all resources that have been tagged with the term and the phrase Civil War. You can see there are 150. That number may seem relatively small to you because if we do Google searches, we get 33 million hits. This site is not intended to be Google. It's intended to be a very well-contained and rigorously vetted site for the best in humanities education. Once you find those 150 resources, though, as a teacher, this is probably more than you need. So by using the Refine Your Search filter search on the left-hand side, you can begin to narrow that down. For example, I might decide that I really want to find resources that are for high school level curriculum, and I really want to find a lecture that I can learn a particular information from. And you can see I've gone from 150 down to 94. And as I continue to use that filter, that number will decrease until I begin to really narrowly focus on the materials that I'm interested in. Again, if this is a card catalog, now I found the resource card that I'm interested in. It's called The American Civil War, an Environmental View. You can see on the initial card that you can see a rating that any other users have applied to it. You can see the metadata that has been attached, including the provider set, so in this case, the National Humanities Center, as well as the lead scholar or author, in this case, Jack Temple Kirby from Miami University. And if that's the resource that I'm interested in at least seeing, then by clicking that resource, it will bring that card forward and reveal to me even more metadata. That includes a short description, that includes subject level, material type, etc. As a user, as a member, I can also leave a comment. That comment goes directly to the content provider, the National Humanities Center in this case. I can also add a tag if there's something I feel has been left out or missed or something I'd like to include. I can share this through social media. I can connect this to my Google Classroom. And if I see anything that's inappropriate or there's an issue or maybe a link is broken, I can report this. And again, it will go directly to our digital librarians. I can evaluate this source on a 5-star metric, and if this is the kind of resource that I think is valuable, I can save it to my private folder, which again is attached to your profile. By selecting View Resource, this then takes me to the resource itself and allows me to interact with it and learn from it and potentially create my own OER from it. You will not likely see the Edit button if you come to a resource as a general population member. I have that on my screen because I'm the administrator of the site. If you publish a resource, however, you will have the ability to edit and revise and modify. I can also discover other materials in the site using this Discover navigation at the top. That includes the resources link, which shows me all the resources from the biggest view possible. Again, these numbers will not be overwhelmingly large on purpose, but they will be growing on a daily basis. And that is because our content providers as well as our individual members will be contributing resources. I can also see other providers in addition to the center that have contributed materials. Any provider that has put in over 10 items will be automatically and alphabetically listed on this page. And so by clicking any of these provider set names, you'll go directly to a small collection that's been curated from just their materials. If you're interested in who those partners are, check out the partner page. Again, these partners represent the best in humanities education across fields, across the country. We have local, we have state, we have regional and international partners all contributing materials. And again, this list will grow over time as well. And then finally, you can also view the collections, and these will be exhibits that the National Humanities Center, our partners, have put together around compelling topics in teaching in the humanities. These are generally going to be very targeted exhibit features, things that we feel are relevant and topical at the moment. And this would be a place to go and find just that small set, that small collection, the bulletin board of materials that we have around different topics. The groups link at the top of your navigation bar will take you then to the community page. And this is a series of groups that have been created either by our content partners like Duke Teach House or the New York Historical Society, as well as groups that match the National Humanities Center programs like the Humanities in Class webinar series. Any member can create a group, so any of you are more than welcome to start your own group. That group can be either closed or open. Closed means that others need to request permission to join. And in that group, you are able to curate resources, able to have conversations and share information, and generally able to pursue the professional interests of the theme or the topic or the geography or the background of the group that you've started. So in this case, we have one for our graduate student summer residencies in which materials from each year are collected, discussions are had, information is shared, and students connect time over year. We hope you find this resource to be valuable in both your individual and team planning. Please do let us know if we can support you in any way. Email us, make a note in the site itself, find us on social media. We would love to work directly with you to connect you with the resources and the scholars and the scholarship that the National Humanities Center represents. Have a great school year. We'll see you soon at a National Humanities Center event.